Today is April 14th, 2019. It's 3:04 in the afternoon, and I'm reporting from Worcester, Massachusetts. I'm located at 22 Florence Street. Nearest cross street is Oberlin, and the nearest main street is May Street. It is my intent to resolve and bring remedy to certain hazardous and unhelpful, malevolent relationships. And today it is at this moment that this intention is being stated and clear. It is the manner and custom when entering my presence that permission be requested. All other entities are not permitted, and there are only those individuals with whom I speak their name, that by those names they may interact with me, and not any other entities are permitted to invade my privacy or to attack me on any etheric bodily harm level, which I have been experiencing. So Ogtelis had written a post back on March 16th, and I'm going to include a link on this to that post. He also provided a remedy, and the remedy is to ignore and not acknowledge any entities with whom one does not wish to have any interaction with. And that is a contractual agreement which those entities are bound to abide by. And I will provide a link to that link to Ogtelis's blog on that as well. Now it's significant for me to further state that in my presence, those with whom I am being hosted by are to be respected and treated in the same manner and fashion with which I am being treated. And there are no distinguishing factors between my presence and my host's presence. They are one and the same, and there is to be no abuse, vocal violations, no etheric damage, attacks, no energetic attacks are to happen on any of the etheric bodies, and especially show no harm within dreams. We do realize that dreams are the same, if not more potent, and where real damage can happen is on the dream time. No evidence is to be shown of any damage. It is non-consensual, and it is my express wish that these damaging factors are to stop. This is being uploaded to the Smolov True channel. All liabilities are accepted under full immunity and without recourse. Furthermore, it is my express wish, on behalf of my host, that all channels be all channels be routed back to source. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is. At this moment, as I do this audio, there is a presence here. And I refuse to acknowledge your presence, so you may leave. Yes, Satan's wife may leave. So I'm feeling this something's being ushered out, but they have some tentacles on. Nothing that I report is to be taken lightly. This is a private experience. I'm actually being given a surge of permission and power, and that's what this feeling is. Okay. So I have a couple of things to report, and let's see. I have my notes written down elsewhere, not with me now. But in terms of updates, for me being here, I have found an excellent space with which I can be on the Wi-Fi. At this time, I'm actually in the kitchen, not on Wi-Fi, and I'm using Music Alchemy's recorder to create this audio file. And for any of those who do happen to hear this file and listen, this is Smo Love True, and the Smo Love True channel is going through some changes. Today I'm actually going to be doing a live stream at 7 p.m., so that's just under 3 hours, just under 4 hours that I'll be getting on. But I did want to create this quick file just to let everybody know there is an issue that I and my host have been dealing with, and slowly I'm coming to terms with this mission, this role in life. I want it to be known that I release all contracts with those who have attachments to an earlier version of myself. I release those attachments, and the contracts have been fulfilled. If we can comprehend what those contracts were, we realize that when a contract comes to an end and all parties have fulfilled their end of their contract, then it can be expected that the contract would end and no further services are needed. I do not intend to recontract with previous individuals with whom I have had contracts with, and this would explain why I am not responding to emails. There are a handful of individuals whom I have recontracted with, and they are on my other channel, Tutura Last. So I will also put a link in this video description that includes various services. What we're finding here is things are working out in a dream that had occurred, and I have proven it out several times this week. So I have remedies, and people in the grocery store cafe happen to just sort of stop and chat, and because I've been there fairly consistently, these individuals, I stop and talk with them and overhear their issues. And one woman, an employee, she had a cough. First she had she was playing a video, and she saw how it was so loud because she had to turn it up loud. She's in a public space, and so a lot of people across the cafe was hearing her audio. And she'd turn and say, I'm sorry, it's loud. So maybe a few days later, I had found the headsets, and in the rain, I cleaned them up and I brought it to her. And I set it up for her. She said, well, where do I plug it in? And her cell phone case was covering the hole for the headphones to go in. So I just moved that aside and inserted the headphone jack into her cell phone, and so she could listen to it quietly now. And she said, oh, well, can I pay you? And I said, oh, well, I'd really like a bowl of soup, actually. So her break, she brings me a bowl of soup. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. I don't need money, for crying out loud. Money, by the way, happens to tie people into a usury fee, which is called taxes. And so it's ideal not to use fiat currency and to find some way to barter. Everybody has some skill or service, or creates a product, or can do service for another, their neighbor. This is where we've got to think local and help out our neighbors in exchange for something they can feasibly provide. And it's very doable. So this other instance had come up where the same worker was actually coughing as well. She's had asthma or some kind of congestive cough. So I came up with looking into Tony's remedies for a respiratory remedy. And I'll put a link in the video description, or I'll write that description down because I had actually found it. And I told her, the only thing that's really missing is the copper acetate. And these are the ingredients that are needed, and you just make a little concoction of this, and I will bring you a copper acetate formula, which I created that morning. And that was this past week, or last week actually. Wednesday I was hoping to see her, or I saw her Wednesday. Thursday I was going to bring it for her, but she had left work early. Friday she had a memorial to go to, and so I saw her on Saturday, yesterday. And basically, she was sitting at the seat where I normally sat at, there in the cafe. And I showed up and I brought her the bottle. And she said, oh, would you like another bowl of soup? I said, oh, well, if I could have some eggs, actually, a carton of eggs. And she brought me a carton of eggs. And I said, this bartering thing is really working out. So it's just stuff that I need. And anybody can do that. And I really encourage the movement away from using cash. Now, the remedy that I had come up with, because still at this time now, 2 months after arriving, I still don't have a bank account, but I'm realizing it would be to take any funds that are in U.S. postal money orders. That's actually the gold-backed currency for North America. And from what I've gathered, it depends on, let's see, I can imagine that postal money orders from around the world, in the Western world anyway, it might be the same. It might be the asset-backed or the gold-backed currency because it was set up by the postal, the Universal Postal Union. It would have had to have been backed by substance, and the UPU had gotten started back in the mid-1800s before there was this bankruptcy. Let's see. Right, so there's actually I don't want to call it a Kickstarter. Maybe I will do it as a Kickstarter, but I'm looking at a GoFundMe account. And this is actually to work on a film project. And It's to tell a story. So it's like, whose story would I be telling? I'd like to tell the story of music alchemy. And it's to see who in the audience has an interest. I've got a lot of video to work with, audio to work with, and in this process I'm actually converting Marty's Music Alchemy's music collection to 432 hertz. This is her earlier music, and it would be, we'll do a selection, so I have to go over that with her. But I don't have, I'm just one. I am the one, and I can only do so much stuff. I'm trying not to multitask, and very important to reserve what limited energy reserves I have for those tasks which will take me straight and narrow. And that's really about getting into creating and completing this project. I would like to work on a project for the next several months and do the things that I enjoy doing. So I have cut out looking for a job because I've actually got 2 jobs just being here at Worcester. And it's really pulling out various, it's testing my mettle, right? And I'm feeling like I'm having to wonder what it is I'm doing and still operate moving forward. I know I'm in the right place. This is the correct time to be doing what I'm doing. And let's see, I'll work on, let's say, a Kickstarter project, or I think a GoFundMe, and put together some rewards. I'm really going to test my postal stamp, private side postal stamp, and bring it back. I'm going to revive it. Since I'm on the land, this is what should be available. And bringing packages over to the main post office here. I think it's about a little more than a mile away, and good exercise. I just need to, again, budget my time. Let's see. It's a project. Okay, now this is actually for the private side. What I have, I've been in communication with a couple of individuals who have allowed me to sort of stretch what I was looking at for the past, I want to say, about 2 years ago. This goes back to summer of 2017 when I was looking at the TDA. And 2015 is when I actually discovered the birth certificate. The TDA is, it's a trap for those who have no idea what they're getting into. Furthermore, those assets were actually liquidated when Obama took presidency in 2009 and bailed out the banks. So that's actually, since 2009, that's when the birth certificates were liquidated. So my best guess is stay away from trying to access them. And let's see. In terms of dates, right, we know that the Federal Reserve was created back in 1929 was the bankruptcy, and it took 4 years for Congress to introduce House Joint Resolution 192, and they did that on March 9th 1933, on June 5th, 1933, is when Congress passed House Joint Resolution 192. Now, it is 70 years that the bankruptcy is permitted to, oh, this is perfect. It's 70 years that the bankruptcy is permitted to be carried out. Why 70? It's 70 because seven years out to sea is when any abandoned salvage can be, after that moment, can be claimed. Why 70, though? It's not just 7-year bankruptcy that's applied to individuals, but applied to a corporation because of the fractionalized banking in North America, in the stock market. It's 10 times. It's a tenfold, right? Our accounts are fractionalized 10 times. So if you got 7 years multiplied by 10, you come out with 70. And so that's where the 70 years comes out. And in 1999 would have been when the bankruptcy would have cleared. And that was when Bill Clinton was in the House. And he had a big surplus, that's for certain, and he just held on to it until Bush Jr. came in. And that's when Bush Jr. blew it all on Iraq, right, the Gulf War. So that explains the bankruptcy, the timeline that Clinton changed over to Bush. Now, why was it then there was the liquidation of assets of the surplus, but then the birth certificates were then liquidated 2003, so 6 years later, right? 2003 was when Bush Jr. went back into the Gulf, created the second Gulf War, and then you've got 2009 when Obama then handed over the birth certificates to the banking cartel, or to the banks, bailed them out. So that's what I've got on that. I think a lot of people already see that, put that together. But for anybody who is still chasing the birth certificate, that should be a little nugget for you to chew on and wonder what the world are you doing with your time. Think about the community you live with, and see how you can contribute to making a difference there. So I think that's all that I've got for now. I'm looking forward to tonight's live stream, and I will put this together in a hurry and have that uploaded. So Smo Love True out for now, and for anybody listening on the live stream, I look forward to chatting with you then. Smo Love True out for now.